Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. The Daily Beast took a look at Harry and Meghan's solo adventures. Entertainment reporter Paula Froelich told the Daily Beast, the current reset is Harry focuses on charity and Meghan focuses on commercial projects. They are trying to show they are individual powerhouses. It's working for Harry, but not so much for Meghan. It's going to be interesting to see how she handles being constantly upstaged by her husband. The only story the world wants to see them now is if they ever got their head out of their asses, hired a non-sycophantic shrink who pointed out all the inconsistencies in their truths, and did what the rest of the world does on a regular basis, make nice with their families, who may be imperfect, but love them. The Beast ran off a list of Harry and Meghan's various projects. Their Archetypes podcast, fronted by Meghan, was cancelled. Harry's Heart of Invictus documentary failed to make the Netflix top 10, and Meghan's animated show Pearl was cancelled before production started. Her jam and homeware brand, American Riviera Orchard, seems mired in bureaucratic and trademark difficulties. Their latest outing on Netflix, a documentary about the easy-to-hate elite sport of polo, has been widely ridiculed, but may of course yet prove the doubters wrong. Marketing expert Tony Case tells The Beast, the general apathy the public has for this pair, adding, this clearly is not a country that is rooting for Harry and Meghan. They also cite PR consultant Warren Johnson, who says, I fear they may have drunk too much of their own Kool-Aid. 2 + 2 = 5 when it comes to creating celebrity couples from lesser individuals, and Harry and Meghan is a classic example of that. Sadly, the math the other way is less attractive. When the couple is divided by 2, you are left with an estranged royal and a jam-making actress. In the Daily Mail, Richard Eden tells how David and Victoria Beckham attending King Charles' state banquet for the Emir of Qatar and Sheikha Jawar has raised eyebrows, not least in Montecito, where the Duke and Duchess of Sussex might be feeling a twinge of déjà vu. Once counted, among Harry and Meghan's inner circle, the Beckhams have seemingly traded Team Sussex for Team Windsor, and the reasons are fascinating. Back in the day, the Beckhams were so tight with Harry and Meghan that they reportedly offered Meghan the use of their lavish LA villa to escape paparazzi. Victoria even extended a helping hand with beauty advice and loaned her staff for facials and hairdressing gratis. Yet when this generosity leaked to the press, Meghan reportedly saw red, suspecting the Beckhams of loose lips, an accusation they flatly denied. The frostiness escalated when the Beckhams were excluded from Harry and Meghan's evening wedding reception despite attending the ceremony. Still, David flew to Sydney later that year for the Invictus Games, only to find Harry unwilling to meet or even be photographed with him. According to biographer Tom Bauer, Meghan was behind this snub, allegedly unwilling to share the media spotlight with the football icon. Fast forward to now, and the Beckhams' loyalty to the Windsors seems unshakable. David's royalist credentials are well documented. He stood in line for 12 hours to pay respects to the late Queen and reportedly holds the monarchy in high regard. As one associate put it, Victoria never really liked Meghan much, and the Sussexes' attacks on the royal family didn't sit well with the Beckhams, who value family deeply. With David's growing influence in American society through his Miami football club and Victoria's fashion empire thriving, it's clear they've chosen their side, and it's not the Sussexes. In the game of royal alliances, the Beckhams have opted to stick with the Windsors. The always entertaining Diana Elsa took it even further in her column for the news.co.uk. Diana writes, there's been a new twist in the rumoured ongoing feud between Harry and Meghan and superstars David and Victoria Beckham. Crowning glory, the jewel in the crown, the royal treatment. Choose your go-to idiom here and slap it on Victoria Beckham, because the woman formerly known as Posh Spice has gone to the world's poshest dinner with the world's poshest people. There can be no grander, more exclusive or more prestigious invitation than to a full bells and whistles, pull out all the stops and go hell for leather on the Gold Forks banquet at Buckingham Palace. Not only have they now officially made it, having breached the highest and most rarefied echelons of society, they have also definitely picked which horse they are backing in the transatlantic post-Brexit Cold War that has broken out between London and Montecito. Against this tangled backstory of reported brutal snubs and exclusion orders, it is impossible to ignore the multi-course buffet of irony that these images of the Beckhams at the palace represent. With these new photos, here the king is welcoming David into the rarefied air of a state event, but he will not even take his own son's phone calls. Harry gets unavailable right now. A friend of the Duke's previously told People his calls go unanswered. He has tried to reach out about the king's health, but those calls go unanswered too. And here is Victoria, all graciously done up in black tie, getting to literally and socially feast away, while Meghan never made it to a state dinner during her royal career. The only state visit that happened while the Duchess of Sussex was on the official royal books was for Donald Trump, and she was on maternity leave at the time. The ties between David and the King were formalised in May when the former footballer met with Charles at his Highgrove estate and was made an official ambassador of the King's Trust charity. Here, the salt in the wound part. Around the time that meeting was held, Harry was back in the UK, but had been told his father was too busy to see him. If the Beckhams are now officially in, socially, then the Sussexes would have to be on the cusp of out. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Tom Parker Bowles, son of Queen Camilla, recently stole the spotlight at the Santa Rita Cigar Smoker of the Year dinner and awards in Canary Wharf with a characteristically spirited address, speaking to an audience that included Frasier star Kelsey Grammer, actor Ray Winstone, and journalist Piers Morgan. Parker Bowles celebrated the joy of convivial gatherings. We are here at Boysdale celebrating not just the joys of cigars and wine, but the basic fundamental pleasure of being together and making merry in the most civilized and open-minded surroundings, he declared to enthusiastic applause. That's surely something to be happy about. However, his mood turned less convivial as he aimed sharp words at a specific modern breed of detractors. As for the me moaners, the whiners, the bleaters, and the empty virtue signallers and the eternally bloody offended, F off, he said, eliciting chuckles and nods from the crowd. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or the app of your choice, and write us a review or hit some stars if you're enjoying the show. Don't forget you can get this show commercial free along with hundreds of others from Calaroga Shark Media. All the details are in the episode and show notes. And you can get shows like 5 Good News Stories. Check that one out. 5 Good News Stories, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.